Hi there. Welcome to episode 107 of Fresh Air at 5, the podcast. In this episode, you're going to hear me reflect on a number of different podcasts. I got out this week, got my walk in, and but you know what? I'm not going to tell you what they are. You got to sit and listen and find out for yourself what I listened to. Learned some things. It was encouraging. And the last one on Friday, that's a good one. So stay tuned and follow through all the way to the end. Appreciate you listening. Have a fabulous day. And without that anymore, oh my goodness, that's a great transition. Without any more talking, oh no, that's not even good either. Without further ado, here's episode 107, Fresh Air at 5.
I'm Christy Hemingway, host of Ed Curation, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Welcome to Fresh Air at 5, the podcast. I'm your host, Brian Carpenter. Fresh Air at 5 is my regular attempt to exercise by walking about my neighborhood, to take in podcast content, then reflect in an unedited video, which I finally post to my Twitter channel. This podcast will be a regular collection of the audio from these selfie videos. You can follow me on Twitter at Fresh Air at 5 or check out my website, briancarpenter.com, for other content I have created and collected.
Hey, PLN Monday, January 23, 2023. Welcome to Monday. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. Yes, this past weekend, we went out to Manning Park Resort, as you see on my hat here, and my toque. And we got to go play in the snow with our friends and family. And it was a really nice weekend to get away, get some rest, and refresh, and back to work today. So, yes, as I'm cruising along here, this morning, it's just about 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm listening to EdTech Bites, episode 131, where Gabe Carrillo gives us some advice about one word 2023. Now, I am a one-word guy. I've been a one-word guy for 5 years. This is my 5th year now of doing this. And as we are going through our time, I find that the one word has been meaningful and impactful for me. So I do, hold to my one word and have that in front of me. And Gabe, you give some reasons why, New Year's resolutions and things like that don't stick, because life is changing and we need to do what we need to do at the different times. But for me, I do find that one word system works well for me. Over the years, I have seen growth in myself because I have stuck to my one word. So for me, yes, I'm going to stick to my one word. You're not going to convince me by you listening to your episode. But I was curious as to what your reasons were. And so your word sounds like your word is fluid, about being intentional and paying attention to what's going on in your life and your space, so that you can adapt and be intentional about making good for yourself on what's coming at you. So yes, my one word for 2023, Gabe, is fourth. It is to bring from the start, to bring forward, and to get out into the open. So I'm sharing that with you, getting it out into the open. People are listening. Peace out. Talk to you soon. Bye. One more thing for January 23, 2023. Chris Jones is Seeing to Lead podcast had on guest Alex Isaac out of New Jersey. And Alex, I want to just say, hey, it was great to hear you talk with Chris about being an engaged teacher in your elementary school and teaching 8th grade math, and how your approach to meeting students' needs and connecting with them is actually really, really important, so that you're growing human beings as opposed to just mathematicians, making it stick, making it real and being honest, being engaging and relevant. So that's the topic of the episode on Seeing to Lead podcast that just came out this week with Chris Jones and Alex Isaacs. And I just wanted to say here that back last summer, I was listening to the Celebrating Creativity series with Mel A. from Colombia, and how she was talking with, had guests on talking about how they celebrate creativity and see creativity in their classroom space. And you were a guest, you were talking about Wakelet, and Alex, after that episode, you reached out to me because I was engaged in the conversation in YouTube chat there, and you said, "Hey Brian, let's get together. Let's talk about Wakelet." Well, thank you. I appreciate that so much, Alex. We did get together. We had a Zoom call for a few minutes, and you poured a little bit into me, and that was good. Have I engaged with Wakelet yet? No, because it's not relevant for me. That's the thing, right? We got these tools, but I've got other ways of doing some things right now. It might be coming, so it's not gone. All right, that's all. Hope you and Chris have a fantastic day, Alex, and take care, people. Take a listen to this episode. Alex Isaacs is an engaged, fired up educator, and we can all have a little bit of joy in what we do, and he demonstrates that for us. All right, peace out. Have a fab. Bye. Hey, PLN, Tuesday, January 24th, 2023. Out this morning, it's misty. I'm not wet. Well, I am wet, but not soaking. So yeah, that's nice to be out walking and get some fresh humidity in my mouth. So it's a good day. Today's Tuesday. We've got ski day at school. Our school's going skiing. Part of our student population is. So the others we're going to have at school and shift around the schedule and do some school with them and be creative. So I'm super psyched. I enjoy my job of doing creativity with them. My middle schoolers are putting together a video series that we are going to share with the world soon. So stay tuned for that. All right, this morning as I'm listening, I listened to episode 230 of the Wired Educator podcast with Kelly Croy, as Kelly talks with Mike Johnson, who is a slam poet. He is an educator. He is a comedian. He's a dad. He's an author, and he's new to Twitter. So give Mike Johnson a follow. He mentioned that he's learning how to do the Twitter thing. So give him a follow as we go through here. So Mike, I wanted to say that you talking with Kelly, I looked at the episode title and I'm like, carpenter, scientist, he's a graphic design guy, and not for me, but I'm going to listen because that's part of Fresh Air at 5 is me taking a jump into things that I would not necessarily tend to listen to, and I come away inspired. Mike, your words about, you are a poet, the book that you wrote that I'm considering picking up, you are a poet, is powerful because we all have story. We all have a message that we can share. We all have words that we use. And poetry for this guy, even though I am not a writer type, has a significant place in my life. Listening to music, listening to worship songs at church, listening to, just the music that we listen to on the radio. It is poetry, and people have taken time and done that. So Kelly, thanks so much. Thanks for your inspiration. And Mike, appreciate you. Have a fabulous day. People, take a listen to this episode. Peace out. Bye. Hey PLN, Wednesday, January 25. We are a month out from Christmas, on this side of Christmas. 11 more months to go. I don't know if anybody's excited about that. I'm not really, I just thought, it's the 25th. That comes to mind. All right, this morning as I'm out walking, it's been foggy here, really, really thick. Very nice and calm and quiet. And I'm enjoying my morning walk. This morning I listened to Evolving with Gratitude, episode 41, as Lady Rowell talks with Thomas C. Murray. And Tom, it was great to hear you speak with Lainey. And you know what's cool? I like listening to your podcast, Lainey, because you're connecting with friends and people that are in your PLN and around you. And that's That's really nice. It's awesome. To hear makes it just so warm and friendly, and you invite us into your conversation, those that are not in your PLN but are on their way to being there. And yes, so good. Thomas, you talked about choosing your lens each day for gratitude. And what do you focus on? Where do you set your eyes to look for greatness or look for negativity? And if we are looking for greatness, we will see greatness. And then we need to recognize greatness. And we need to be intentional about that greatness and acknowledge it and be grateful for it in different ways. People, take a listen to this. Tom has some great advice about working with staff and caring for those down the hall from you that we might take for granted and walk by, our secretaries, custodians. And there's talk about the effect of the pandemic. There's talk about, getting to this side of the pandemic and settling back into the old ways and how we need to keep that from happening, and equity in technology. Okay, I liked it. It was so good. You should like it too. All right, shout out to you guys. Okay, bye. The last thing for Wednesday, January 25, 2023, on episode 10 of season 3 of The Second Question with Martin Silverman. Martin has on guest Tom Neslony, who is the Director of Culture and Strategic Leadership with the Texas Elementary Principals and Supervisors Association. And Tom has written a book called Kids Deserve It, and it was inspiring to listen to this conversation between Martin and Tom this morning. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for your thoughts about leadership, about connecting, about caring for kids. And what really resonated with me in this episode that I listened to was Tom, you talked about kids deserve it, and Martin, you asked him, what is the it that kids deserve? And Tom, you talked about, and I haven't read your book, but you talked about how kids deserve all of us in all of our greatness that we bring, because we care deeply and we are passionate. We are not making excuses for not doing something. We are doing the things that are challenging and hard for kids because we love our jobs. We love what we do. We love them as kids and children and learners, and we need to model that. You talked about how when your twins of 18 months, Tom, go to school, that I'm going to pull them out of the classroom if their teachers aren't reading anything and being learners. Learning is and watching what people do outside of getting paid to do it, I think is a key thing about how we look at person's character. What are we doing? I'm learning all the time. I believe that I'm learning all the time. I am learning, and I'm trying things that are hard and challenging. For example, right now, I got our K-2 classroom at my school working with our K-2 teacher, and we have installed a salmon tank in their classroom. One of the moms says, well, isn't that a lot of work? And I said, yeah, it's a lot of work, but it is worth every bit of effort, because I get to see the light bulbs and eyes pop out of the kids' heads when they're looking at salmon eggs, and eventually see those salmon swimming around. That's just an example. All right, Tom. All right, Martin. Thanks. Have a good day, guys. Bye. Good morning, PLN. It's Friday, January 27, 2023. This morning it's misty out, and so it's damp, but it's not too bad. And I'm enjoying my walk. It's refreshing this morning after a very full week. Part of coping for me is that I gotta get out and get some fresh air so that I can clear my head, do some learning while I listen to podcasts here, and just breathe some fresh air, and how much of a difference that makes in my day. Yesterday I didn't go. I had a lot of work to do, and I did it, and I had success in my day, but I noticed that it was missing. So don't neglect that too often, and yesterday it wasn't a neglect thing. It was I intentionally did not go for my walk, and that's okay to not do that if other things come up. That's, the way life is, right? We have to stop some things when certain pressures happen that we have to tend to. and deal with. So this morning, as I'm listening to episode 208 of the Lasting Learning Podcast with Dave Schmittou, he talks with Jen Forstall, Dr. Jen Forstall, who is about working with kids and their wellness and their mindset. And her book is called The Umbrella Effect, and you can go find resources of hers at theumbrellaproject.co. And Jen talks about coping skills and about how we raise our children today. And Dave Schmittou honestly said he was being really selfish and that this was all about him and helping him be a better parent in this process. But Dave, you know what? That's farthest from the truth. That, we as parents need to figure out how we can deal with life and all the stuff that goes along so that our kids can see that. But that's not the only way. That we have to help them understand how they can deal with life and things as well. There's the balance between not being engaged at all in your kids' lives to completely being engaged with kids' lives and they don't do anything for themselves. The umbrella effect is about teaching the kids to have an umbrella to cope with the rains of life. Take a listen to this. I would encourage you. I thought, man, this is going to make me sad that I'm a bad parent, but far from that. Thanks, Dr. Jen. Thank you, Dave. Have a fabulous day, all, and have a great weekend coming up. All right, peace out. Bye-bye.
As my one word for 2021 is appreciate, I appreciate you giving me a listen as I've created this podcast experience for you. It's a unique Blinkist or Coles Notes version of the content I take in, like a highlight reel, so that you can hopefully find other interesting podcasts you may not have considered before. I've recorded the specific podcast episodes in the show notes for your learning convenience. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming episodes. And if you enjoyed this podcast and its format, share it with someone else. Tweet about your experience or give it a review on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to podcasts. Fresh Air at 5 can also be found on Voice Ed Radio. Your voice is right here, and on the Education Podcast Network, podcasts for educators, podcasts by educators. I hope you have a fantastic day and get some fresh air before the day is out, and take care of yourself because you're worth it.